Oh, it is prime time season. Thank the Lord. Prime time. Deion Sanders is back. The Colorado Buffaloes played last night, barely escaping against North Dakota State University. And let's go take a peek inside the Buffalo locker room after they win by 5 points against an FCS team, a 1AA school. Let's look at how they celebrated. So that's Deion on a stage in the locker room with some 400-pound rapper. BigXThaPlug, I think is his name. He's from Texas. One of his most popular songs is called Pistol Packin'. He's got another popular song called Big Stepper. It's all the usual guns, violence, bitches, hoes, Deion, the great Christian leader of the Colorado Buffaloes, they barely beat a 1AA school. And then they bring in BigXThaPlug to celebrate in the locker room. This Buffalo program and Deion Sanders are the most clueless group of people we've ever seen enter the sports world. What they've done to sports. You barely beat everybody. You play a terrible game. You barely escape against a 1AA school, and you bring in a rapper to celebrate, to come in and cuss and do all. It's crazy. I'm just so happy Deion's back. He's free content for everybody. Obviously, we're going to talk about it today. Welcome to Fearless with Jason Whitlock. I'm Jason Whitlock, your host. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much, Deion Sanders, for providing me this content today that I think you guys are going to enjoy. Before I get into today's show and bring Steve Kim into this conversation, and Butter's going to be here with me in studio, I want to remind you all that if you want some extra Fearless content, there's a place you can go to get it. If you want to see me and Shamika talk about Kamala Harris's interview last night with CNN, we'll be talking about it on the Blaze TV app, but you got to be a subscriber to Blaze TV to get it. So go to blazetv.com/fearless, use the promo code fearless, and you can save $20 on your yearly subscription to Blaze TV. And you can watch me and Shamika break down Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Am I saying her name right? Kamala Harris, I can't. Anyway, she did an interview with Donna Bash, and it was pretty amazing. Shamika and I will break it down. Be a Fearless subscriber. Be a Blaze TV subscriber. All right, let's move on and get into today's show. And I want to start here. Did North Dakota State University, did they blow that game last night? Or did Deion and the Colorado Buffaloes win that game last night? I'm not so sure, and I don't know if Deion knows what happened. Deion immediately comes in the postgame press conference after they win. I think the score was 31-26. North Dakota, the game ended with North Dakota State catching a pass at the 3 or 4 yard line. And if the referees hadn't screwed over North Dakota State, they would have had time to stop the clock after picking up that first down and spike the ball and run one play from the 3 or 4 yard line. But on the previous play, the refs ignored a targeting penalty and then stole 4 to 5 to 6 seconds from North Dakota State when they started the clock before resetting the ball. It was, the refereeing last night was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Deion and the Buffaloes were down, I believe, 20-14 or 20-17 at halftime. They had every chance to lose this game despite having far more talent than North Dakota State. And if North Dakota State, now look, the refs in the second half I thought were atrocious. They let Travis Hunter push off. They let him get away with 2 pass interferences, one on a touchdown pass and the second one on a sideline pass. The refereeing was bad. But North Dakota State made a couple of critical errors that were caused them problems right before halftime, right before Colorado's last drive before halftime. They snapped the ball way too early in the play clock, left Colorado too much time. Critical. These small little detail errors, critical in losing this game. North Dakota State had no business playing both quarterbacks. And I know they have these special plays for their big quarterback. Should have left that all on the sidelines. Their starting quarterback, Cam Miller, was playing lights out. No reason to ever take him out of the game. And I don't care if a couple of those plays with the big quarterback work. Should never have taken that quarterback off the field under any circumstances. The kid was throwing a no-hitter, and they're pulling him out of the game for a special set of packages for this big quarterback. It was a mistake. Those are the mistakes they made. The mistakes Deion and Colorado made. This undisciplined, haphazard, not strategically sound team. Deion coaching off gut and emotion. Things were going so bad in the first half, and North Dakota State was so dominant in the first half. Deion just got frustrated, and on 4th and 1 from his own 30-yard line, he went for it, and it got stuffed. And that's when North Dakota State had a chance to put Colorado in real harm's way. They ended up blowing it. I think some penalties got in the way of them punching that in for a touchdown. I think they had to settle for a field goal. But Deion did something really stupid there. Really stupid. But he was so frustrated that Shedeur had been on the sidelines because North Dakota State's team was possessing the ball and picking up first downs and so frustrating them that Deion went into panic mode and said, hey, let's go for it on 4th and 1 from the 30. And then at the end of the game, the most incredible, the most selfish, the most narcissistic thing I think I've ever seen happen. Give me a minute before we get there. I'm going to tell you that. But I want to start with Deion after the game basically acknowledging, this is SOT number 1, basically acknowledging that we didn't really win last night. Play the clip.
You ever felt like you won, but you didn't win? It's almost like we had more points than they did. Giving up the last touchdown on the run, that bothered me because we pride ourselves on going to get the quarterback, and we have a multitude of young men that can go get the quarterback, and we didn't get that done. But I'm thankful, I'm happy we got the W. Miss Peggy's one step closer to the dream and the vision that we have for her, as well as I think 31 NFL scouts are on hand tonight, and I think they saw what they came to see. So let's move on from there. I'm going to try my best to hold back my anger, but we got the W, so I'm happy.
So Deion's angry about what happened, but he's happy because the scouts saw what they came to see. Let me translate that for you. I don't really care about this football team. I care that my son threw for 445 yards and had an impressive performance, and the scouts came to see what they came to see. And so, hey, bring the BigXThaPlug. Come on in here and rap for these guys because, yeah, they played a terrible game, but my son and Travis Hunter had terrific games, and the scouts are satisfied and happy. Let's throw this party because I'm up out of here shortly. That's how I translate all of that. Hey, let's bring on this pornographic gangster rapper into our locker room. And how dare anybody question my Christian bona fides, even though I'm the Christian coach. But hey, you X-rated obese rapper come in, and look, I'm obese too. I'm not saying I'm not. But hey, let's bring this fat rapper in here to curse and scream with me on stage, co-signing all this. But I'm the Christian coach. And the reason why I'm bagging on Deion about this fraudulent Christianity that he's representing is because we learned last night from Mark Jones that that's what Deion Sanders is upset about as it relates to the Sean Keeler, the Denver Post columnist, who was banned from asking Deion any questions. Deion, according to Mark Jones, well, I'll let Mark Jones explain. Let's play the clip.
5-yard line. There has been a swirl of noise and activity around this Colorado program in the last couple of weeks. Let's listen to it in Coach Prime's words.
Eric Christensen with CBS Sports Colorado.
CBS,
Tyler,
I'm not doing nothing with CBS. Next question.
Joe Rigo, Mile High
Ain't got nothing to
Sports
do with
Radio.
you. It's above that. Ain't got nothing to do with you. I got love for you. I appreciate you, respect you. Ain't got nothing to do with you. They know what they did.
Coach Sean Keeler, the Denver Post.
You don't like us, man. Why do you do this to yourself?
Come on.
It's like it would be hard for me to really engage in someone I don't like or something I don't like. I'm just asking why. Like why?
Jimmy Horn picking up the first down on that opening play, first down and 10. And Coach Prime, in meeting with him yesterday, he felt that, at 4-8, 3-9 news conference, this is one of the parts from the Denver Post story, but it wasn't that. Coach Prime told us he felt that the reporter in question questioned and attacked his faith and subsequently went over the line, and thus his actions as a result. That's what he told us.
So, you just got a clue into Deion's defense. Hey, I did this to Sean Keeler because in calling me Deposition Deion and calling me the Bruce Lee of BS, Sean Keeler said something that made some inference to a little bit the fraudulence of Deion's faith. But there has been no one that has questioned Deion's faith more than yours truly. And I was one of the first people blocked by Deion on Twitter or on social media. I was one of the first people, when Deion thought they were gonna have a great season last year, the Netflix behind the scenes show celebrating Deion, they sent me emails looking for me to give them permission to use my content because Deion was anticipating using my content. He thought they'd be 10-2, 9-3, and that he was going to be able to beat his chest and say, Jason Whitlock has questioned me about this or that, and that's a bridge too far, and I'm going to, trust me, this, and I know this sounds narcissistic. Deion's problem is not with Sean Keeler, it's with me. Because no one has called out the fraudulence of his reputation of Christianity more than me. And I will do it again today. Because Christianity ain't about lying. It's about holding yourself accountable, holding your kids accountable. It's about authenticity and honesty. And Deion is as fraudulent as they come. And he did it again last night. At the end of that game, they're up by 5. There's less than 2 minutes to play in that game. And his son, his pride and joy, the one the scouts all came to see, and Deion's out here celebrating about how great his son was, and the scouts came to see what they came to see. His son did one of the most selfish and narcissistic things we've ever seen in college football. They're trying to run out the clock and escape with this victory. They get bailed out on the set of downs before. It's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, maybe 3rd and 10, and North Dakota State flushes Shedeur out of the pocket, and hats off and credit to Shedeur. He avoided the rush. uncorks a Hail Mary pass, and the defensive back, the safety for North Dakota State, never identifies the ball, runs over top of the receiver, pass interference, they get bailed out. Now, North Dakota State has one timeout, and there's maybe 1:30 left in the game. Nothing could screw this game up other than Colorado throwing the football and throwing incomplete. And that's exactly what they did on first down. Shedeur Sanders threw a bomb. All he needed to do, hand the ball off 3 straight times, or take a knee, whatever. North Dakota State will use its final timeout, and then basically they run out the clock and the game is over. But Shedeur throws a bomb. And Mark Jones and Rodney Jones, they don't know what to do. If this is any other coach, any white coach in America, the broadcasting team would erupt and be like, what are they doing? This is crazy. This is the only thing that could allow North Dakota State back in the game. What just went on here? Someone's going to have to explain this. Shedeur, the offensive coordinator, Deion, there would have been an entire conversation. What's this dude out here doing? Stat padding? What is going on? Are they trying to run up the score? Of course, none of that happened because Mark Jones they're all afraid of Deion, and Deion has bullied the media. I won't talk to you. So they're very careful about how they discuss Deion. He lives in a bubble, a protective bubble. He's so fragile that if anybody criticizes him, he melts down and, oh my God, they questioned my faith, or I'm not talking to you, and blah, blah, blah. So no one says anything. Deion comes out with the most incredible explanation I've ever heard for one of the most selfish plays I've ever seen. Let's play the clip of Deion explaining Shedeur doing one of the most selfish acts I've ever seen in football.
Because at the end of the game, we just want to run the ball. Let's get out of here. And he took a shot, to LaJohntay, because he wanted LaJohntay to have a big play. Because you got the other 2 guys, the dogs, having a big play, and he know he's going to have a one-on-one matchup. He just didn't put it out there far enough. But that's his character. I'm like, dog, come on, dog. Not right now. It's not time to be the good guy right now. It's time to let's put this game away. But that's what that was.
So he checked into it?
He wanted what he wanted.
So there's a little bit at the front of that where Deion was even more clear. This is just Shedeur being a good kid. This is his character. He's a great kid. He was just trying. The other receiver didn't have the stats that Jimmy Horn and Travis Hunter had. And Shedeur was he felt so sorry. He wanted that receiver to have a big play. Because that's the kind of high character, good person Shedeur is. That's a lie. That is a lie. So let's play Shedeur's answer to why he threw that pass.
Tyler King with the Denver Gazette. Shedeur, your dad was in here saying that the pass to LaJohntay was something you kind of checked into because you wanted to get him a big play. What were you seeing on that play that you just wanted to get LaJohntay?
Cover zero, and we have the best receiver room in the nation, so it's kind of disrespectful. So it was something I definitely would learn from. So that's why I'm happy everything in my life. I always was able to learn from it. So it's not too many mistakes you're gonna see I made twice. So that's just something I'm gonna learn, understand that, and even if it looks super tempting, and it's just still you just gotta, just go with it.
Shedeur Sanders wanted to pad his stats. This wasn't about the other receiver. This wasn't about, he didn't have the stats that everybody else had. This is Shedeur wanting to throw for 500 yards. Damn, putting the entire team in jeopardy. I want 500 passing yards. And I see cover zero out here, and so I'm going to do what serves me. Period. End of story. And if you're a scout or an NFL head coach or a general manager or team president, Shedeur Sanders just waved the brightest red flag you will ever see on a football field. Holy cow. This man just put his dad's job in jeopardy. He just put his team in jeopardy of losing to a 1AA school because he wanted 50 more passing yards. He wanted to pad his stats. And Deion comes out, and instead of being like any other coach, coaching any other kid on the team, you can love the kid, he can be a great player, but you come out and you tell the media like, yeah, that was a mistake. Shedeur shouldn't have done that. That will get corrected this week. You don't come out and say, well, he's such a great kid. He was just trying to help the other little boy across the street. Couldn't you see? The other wide receiver, he's that special needs autistic kid. He was our Make-A-Wish wide receiver this week. And so we were just trying to make a wish for the other wide receiver. You don't do that. You correct Shedeur and say, hey, man, there's 90 other guys on this team. It ain't about you. It's not about your stats. It's not about that wide receiver stats. It's about us winning this game and moving on. If Shedeur will do that to his dad, what will he do to one of these other NFL coaches who isn't his father? This is why you don't coach your kids from pee-wee all the way through college. That was a hot mess last night, punctuated by one of the most selfish, narcissistic things you'll ever see in college football or in team sports. And trust me, people are not going to talk about it. They're not going to say, what does this say about Shedeur? What does this say about Deion, that he's lying and caping up for Shedeur? What the people in that locker room, there are some of them that think for themselves and are sitting there like, damn, this boy almost cost us the game with his selfishness and narcissism, and Deion's not going to say or do anything about it. Because trust me, if his last name was Smith and he wasn't Deion's son, he would get called out and there would be consequences, and there damn sure wouldn't be some gangster pornographic rapper in the locker room helping us celebrate barely escaping a 1AA team and the quarterback putting us in harm's way, because that pass allowed North Dakota State to get back on the field, and if the referees hadn't robbed them of 6 seconds, they got first and goal from the 3 or 4 yard line and one play to knock off Deion Sanders and start the inevitable end of the Deion era at Colorado. Steve Kim and Butter are going to join me next. Americans are hurting. Healthcare costs are out of control, and we know insurance companies don't have the answer. But now, Lassie Health is here to shake things up. That's Lassie, L-A-A-S-Y. Lassie Health isn't health insurance. It's access to the healthcare you want without all the red tape, restrictions, and inflated costs. Coverage starts at just $30 a month. You get transparent pricing, comprehensive coverage tailored to your needs, and access to healthcare services without breaking the bank. There are no annual or lifetime caps on services, and you can start a plan at any time. For only $30 a month, you get over 400 prescription medications for free. Free, unlimited virtual mental health counseling. Free, 24/7 virtual urgent care. Lab tests up to 60% off. Imaging tests up to 75% off. And over 50% off procedures and surgeries. You can even get plans with vision, dental, primary care, and comprehensive health share coverage. People are saving thousands of dollars on everything from MRI scans to ER visits, hospitalizations, and more. Here's the best part. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes. They aren't considered pre-existing conditions as long as you haven't been hospitalized in the 12 months before you enroll. Lassie Health is a game changer. Check out affordable plans that put you in control of your health care at healthylink.com/fearless. For a limited time, get your first month free. That's up to $100 off eligible plans. So get healthy, be healthy, and stay healthy without breaking your bank account. healthylink.com/fearless. Welcome back to Beef. As I walk you through my top 50 media beefs of all time. Yeah, I'm an equal opportunity beefer. It's like, Randy, are you asleep at the wheel? Big lips are in style. I'd love to squash this beef. I mean, I was not real happy at all. I was less than thrilled. I was displeased. And now we have beef. Gentlemen, Allie Beth Stuckey is putting on an event that will be a benefit to you, your wife, girlfriend, significant other. This event on September 28th in Dallas, Texas. It's Share the Arrows event, a day dedicated to equipping women with the charity and courage to navigate today's world with conviction and grace. This isn't just any event. It's a chance to come together with fellow women who are ready to stand firm in truth and fellowship. It'll be led, of course, by our very own Allie Beth Stuckey. She's got great speakers lined up, including Rosaria Butterfield, Alyssa Childers, Abby Halberstadt. Plus, there will be music by Francesca Battiselli. This event is made possible with the generous support of Carly Jean Los Angeles, a brand that aligns with our values of truth and faith. Help all the God-fearing women in your life experience powerful teaching, encouraging fellowship, and inspiring worship. This event is like our roll call, but it's for women, and Allie Beth Stuckey's leading it. Go to sharethearrows.com today and select from the following packages: general admission, breakfast package, the VIP package, the premium all access package. That's sharethearrows.com. Go there today.
Yeah, 모두 다 빨리 박수 쳐 기다리지 말고 서둘러 Reason that I'm back is to feed you raps I see that you are 배불러 So fly
All right, welcome back. Steve Kim joining me from Los Angeles. Our man Butter, your boy Butter, in studio with me. Steve, I'm going to start with you. I thought the pass on first down from Shedeur is the most selfish, narcissistic thing I've ever seen. Could have cost them the game. Deion's explanation makes it worse. Am I exaggerating how selfish I think Shedeur Sanders was here?
No, not at all. And I remember when the first down was ruled after that pass interference, I actually tweeted, game's over. All you have to do is plunge into the line, take a knee, and you basically run out the clock. And when they actually drop back and then Shedeur throws a go route, I was flabbergasted because in essence, they gave North Dakota State a free timeout. And it turns out about 4 or 5 extra plays because I think there was about 1:45 left. So if you just run the ball 3 times, you make them take a timeout, and then you have the clock that's going to rewind to 45 seconds. And at the very least, you'll get to punt with less than probably 30 seconds to go. Trust me, guys, I'm a Miami fan. I know all about how bad clock management and 2-minute blunders can cost you a game. And Jason, if they just run the ball or even take a knee, basically Colorado State gets 1 play from the line of scrimmage. But I will say this, Coach Prime and Coach Tim Polasek, they took turns blundering each other, out-blundering each other, except one guy had the 2 best athletes on the field, and they were able to escape with the victory.
Totally agree with you. Butter somehow made it up in his mind that this wasn't a bad play. It's like, well, if they had caught that pass, I'm like, what? Butter. Anyway.
I'm just saying, if you could, I was trying to understand the math. If you could run that clock out with 0 time, you plunge in, you take the dives, you get out of there with a victory. I also feel like the matchup that they had in the play, that sometimes you can get very conservative at the end of games trying to run out a clock. And in college with the first down, stopping the clock, I've seen it a lot. If you have a chance to really put them out with that one more first down or that big play, I don't mind the play. They had it. He just underthrew the ball.
Okay, Butter, thank you. That's why you're a country music singer and you know nothing about
Hold
sports.
on.
Go ahead, Steve.
Can I go Nick Saban here? Because what I just heard was rat poison. Okay? There's an old phrase. It is not about the result. It is the process. Okay? And coaches will tell you, if it's not okay in winning, it's not okay in losing, and vice versa. If you really wanted to play the clock, this is what you would have done. If you wanted to make sure there was no time remaining, what they could have done was run the ball, right? So then they call a timeout. Then you run 2 more plays or just take a knee, you grind that clock, and then what you do, if you have your own timeout, you literally call a timeout while you're in punt formation with 1 second left to go on the play clock. So you're up by 5. And if you really want to squeeze the clock, given the field position that you were in, you know what you could have done? You could have just snapped the ball back to the punter, and the punter could have ran out the end zone and keep taking more time. And then you literally probably could have left North Dakota State with maybe, less than 15 seconds to go. So then you free kick it. And I'm just telling you, the odds are still in your favor. Coaches will tell you it is not about the results that they talk about. It is about doing the right things over and over and over again and playing the percentages.
We're going to put a clock on Butter. He's in timeout until I say otherwise for comments detrimental to the show. That's a new format. That's a new thing. Comments detrimental to the show. Butter, you're in the penalty box for. If you don't turn his mic off until I say turn it back on. So, Steve, the other thing that just ran across my mind last night, there's no improvement here, Steve. Can you name anything in any area where you're like, oh, this was better? There's one thing that I will say slightly better, but in terms of running game, they still don't have it. In terms of pass rush, they still don't have it. In terms of pass protection, they still don't have it. In terms of Deion's decision making, it's still not there. I don't know what discipline. Shilo got a horrible penalty that extended a late hit penalty. They did only have 3 penalties called on them, but I attributed that more to one-sided officiating and playing at home than actual discipline. Where did they improve?
I will say this. The Rocky Mountains on their uniforms was a nice touch.
Yeah.
It was pretty nice. They kept it classic. Bill McCartney would approve. Here's the issue. Look, we know what Shedeur Sanders is. He is a potential Heisman candidate and certainly an elite college quarterback. Travis Hunter is unbelievable. I've never seen a player that is that impactful on both sides of the ball for as long as he is. Look, there's been guys like Champ Bailey and Charles Woodson and Carl Pickens that have gone both ways, but none of them ever played 116 plays per game. I think the usage rate on him is going to be something to really monitor. But you're right, Jason. When I looked at Colorado, the one thing that I was going to look at was trench play. Offensive line, I think Jordan Seaton's going to one day be a really good left tackle. Jason, when you have a left tackle out on an island against speed rushers, he struggled a little bit. There are very few Orlando Paces who at age 18 are ready and willing and able to anchor your line in the most important position because you throw the ball as much as you do. And they only ran the ball 59 yards on 23 carries. That's not exactly Rashaan Salam worthy there. The other thing is, Jason, I thought they were a little bit better in the run game defensively. They were a little bit more stout up front, but they have no pass rushers. I actually thought that North Dakota State needed to throw the ball a little bit more because especially when Cam Miller was there, they were operating pretty comfortably in the mid-range passing game. They had 22 pass attempts from their starting quarterback, who I think never should have been come out of that game in the second half. If they throw closer to 30, I think it's a different result. Because I think the reality is the front seven talent for Colorado is very, very decent at best. I mean, their best player is Deion Hayes out of Pitt, but they don't have a lot of help. I would actually investigate if Warren Sapp and Damian Lewis have any more eligibility left. Because I'm just telling you, I think those two guys on the sideline are better than anyone they have right now on the field.
Steve, the playing of two quarterbacks, I didn't like it in the first half, and North Dakota State fans started tweeting at me, you don't follow North Dakota State football. This is what they do. But I don't, this quarterback was too piping hot to ever pull out of the game. He was throwing basically a no-hitter, and let's bring in some middle relief. Are you kidding me?
Analytics.
No, leave that kid out there and don't even make eye contact with him. Everybody just stay away. He's throwing a no-hitter. Stay away from him. And then at the end of the game, they bring in the big kid, and he takes that sack, and that cost him time on the clock. Well,
a game,
I didn't.
Yeah, Jason. Yeah. In a game where they came up 4 yards short, think about what an extra play or two really matters. Now, Jason, let's go back to the two quarterback platoon system. It's been done before, but if you are going to pull Cam Miller and you're going to put in that big left-hander Cole Payton, I go back to 2006 Florida. People keep forgetting Tim Tebow was not the starting quarterback. It was Chris Leak. And Tebow, as a young freshman, basically played the role of the designated tank. In other words, if it was 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, you're at the goal line, take out Chris Leak, put in Tebow, and Tebow had a very defined role. Get up into the A-gap, follow the butt of your guard and center, and plow ahead for the first down. That's it. That's all they did. And look, it worked in the first half, okay. But I thought once Colorado took that lead 24-20, it almost felt as though when North Dakota State got the ball, I felt like, Lou, this feels like a must-score situation or this game could leave them. So, Jason, let's go through that drive. They pile up a couple of first downs. Cam Miller's in the groove. They cross midfield, and now they get to 2nd and 2. That is a quarterback's down because you can run play action. You can run anything you want. They bring in the southpaw, and what do? They run a rollout that gets stuffed. And even worse, and this may be a coaching error, if you're going to keep in the big southpaw, it's got to be a very simple blast up the middle, right? Or some sort of quarterback draw. Jason, they had to delay a game. That right there, to me, ruined the drive because now it took you out of 4-down territory once that play got blown up on 3rd down. I thought that was the game. I really did. And then to go a little bit further, Jason, when they're down 31-20, they had the ball with about 6.5 minutes left. You had to go tempo. I get it. You're not Art Briles and Baylor, but they were huddling up and grinding the clock. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, guys, us Asians are good at math, but this is pretty simple. You needed 2 scores. And they actually started to grind the clock. And again, Jason, in a game where they came up 4 yards short.
I want to go back to your point about 2nd and 2. They bring in the big kid, do the little rollout play. He throws it to the running back. They lose a yard. They never showed a replay because ESPN, the broadcast is so one-sided, and I'm not really blaming them. They need Colorado to be successful. It's great for ratings. But it was so one-sided. They wanted to second-guess that holding call in the first half where the kid ran in for the touchdown, but they never brought the ref. Hey, was this pass interference when Travis Hunter shoves the guy in the face and then immediately catches the ball? They never addressed. But one of the big oversights I thought, and it's just a little sneaky thing, that 2nd down and 2 should have been 2nd and 1, in my opinion. If you go look at that spot, the kid slid forward. And when they put up on screen before showing, it was 2nd and 2, and I'm like, 2nd and 2? Where'd they spot this ball? Yeah. He slid forward, he dove forward. This is 2nd and inches, if anything. And so I just thought there's just little sneaky things that refs can do to influence a game. No different than how they started the play clock late in that game after he had picked up the first down, before they had set the ball. The clock is running and the ref is still moving the ball. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So that bothered me, just the officiating and the way that game was managed, and obviously the broadcasting of the game, bothered me as well. But and I'm going to ask you about that. But before I do any of that, Travis Hunter, 120 snaps or whatever it ended up being. I think it's all but 2 plays.
Yeah.
That's coaching malpractice, Steve. You got to play him that many plays to beat North Dakota State? Yeah. Are you kidding me? That says something about how weak your team is. And then for RG3, and I know he's off ESPN, but my God, these people are so in the tank for Deion, and they won't speak legitimately about anything. Travis Hunter keeps showing that he can and should play both wide receiver and cornerback in the NFL full time. Man had 7 catches, 100, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, hey, man, this is North Dakota State. And he's leaps and bounds a better athlete than anybody North Dakota State has. I'm not sure if I'm going to translate that. Oh, well, he did it against North Dakota State. Surely he can do this in the NFL. That's just stupid on Deion's part and for RG3 to be defending this.
Jason, what's ironic is Deion actually did go both ways, though. Remember, in 1996, Michael Irvin ran into some issues. So he was suspended, I believe, the first 4 games. Remember, Deion actually started at cornerback and wide receiver for the Cowboys. And he was fairly successful, but even he did not go through that whole season going both ways. I think it even wore him out. And keep this in mind. With the tempo of play that North Dakota State runs, you're taking off 35, 40 seconds at times. When you play a team that goes up-tempo offensively and is going to really press the attack, I wonder about that. Last year, Travis Hunter averaged 116 snaps per game. I think that's an amazing stat. One of the more eye-opening ones of the last decade. However, Jason, keep this in mind. He also missed about a month after that Blackburn hit against Colorado State. So you could also make an argument he was more well-rested coming into November than he would be this year if he is not injured or sidelined. And you look at the pace of play in this game, what I found interesting is even though Colorado outgained North Dakota State, 504 to 449, they actually had 3 less first downs, and North Dakota State controlled the ball for nearly 37 minutes. So I just look at this. I'm not so sure the best team won. I think the team with the best 2 players ended up pulling out this game.
All right, Butter's penalty is over. I don't want to hear a comment from you right now, but Butter, you are free to talk now. You've been let out of the penalty box. What do you think of Nebraska -7? That's what the odds makers are saying. Nebraska -7 against Colorado in week 2. I actually think the one plus side to all of this for Deion and Colorado is this poor performance, now coming out as a touchdown underdog. I do think that's going to work in Deion and Colorado's favor in week 2.
Yeah, I mean, Jason, I made it a point to watch the press conference when I got home. And, boy, it's really too bad Ed Werder was not there this time. Because Ed Werder should have asked Deion, do you believe that you're winning 8-9 games this year? I've been on record on every show that I've done, including this one, which is my favorite. Nebraska will be one of the most improved teams in the country. I am a believer in Matt Rule. They have a quarterback by the name of Dylan Raiola, who almost looks like a Patrick Mahomes clone in the way he throws the ball and the way he plays. Matt Rule runs a serious football program. If you look at their season last year, they were excruciatingly close to actually being an 8-9 win team, except they were -17 in turnovers. I believe that's going to swing in their favor this year, or at least even out. And keep this in mind, Jason. They played them last year in Boulder. Last night's game was in Boulder. So they had the home field advantage. They are now going to Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. And that is going to be a loud, raucous atmosphere. And I know, I'm just telling you, Matt Rule will never admit it publicly, but I think in the back of his mind, he looks at Colorado as a circus, and he would never say, be like, no, we're different than them. We run a real program. We are serious people. If I was a gambler, I would bet a little bit of the lunch money on Nebraska before that line goes up to 8.5, 9. I have felt from the beginning that was going to be an ambush by Big Red.
Butter, this is a culture clash, Nebraska versus Colorado. I think you have a better shot at performing in Nebraska's postgame locker room than BigXThaPlug. Or what do you think about the rapper in the locker room after the game? Have you been booked for Lincoln, Nebraska, perhaps, to help them celebrate?
I'm in timeout with Nebraska right now. Not allowed to perform there. Hey, it's 2024, guys. Welcome to the social media world. What Deion is doing in the locker room. You look at it with country artists. You look at it like with everybody. It's not enough just to play the game and be the entertainer. Social media plays a big component in it, and they're doing what they do out there. It's 2024. You got to have this extra stuff to keep your social media likes and your energy up. So,
do you know who Dan Lanning is?
I don't know.
He's the head coach at Oregon, and last year he said they play for clicks. We're playing football, basically. And so you're one of these clickbait guys. You fit right in with Deion.
I'm right there with it. I like it.
I
Jason.
don't. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question. When you were at Ball State as the Orlando Pace of the MAC, I have a question. Out of all your teammates, how many of those guys that you played with do you think could have really played in the Big Ten as you look back at it?
Well, okay, so I would say 6 to 8. Bernie Parmalee played 10 years in the pros.
Right.
Our middle linebacker, MVP of the team, was originally recruited by Michigan State, was going there, but he got shot.
Okay.
And had a cup of coffee with the Lions. Our tight end played with the Colts. Shawan Respris was a 4-star recruit that originally was at Iowa. I'd say 10 to 12 of the guys could have. We had an offensive guard, Craig Cantor. He could have played anywhere. Anyway, go ahead.
So my point is, if you look at North Dakota State, and I love that program, I think that they're excellent at what they do for their level. I mean, the greatest stat that I've looked up this summer, they produced 3 NFL quarterbacks in the last decade. That's amazing to me. Trey Lance, Carson Wentz, and then Easton Stick. There are a lot of P4 schools that have never produced 3 quarterbacks in the past 30 years that played at the next level. And last night, they have a safety that has a bit of a foot issue that's an NFL prospect who did not play. He could have made a difference. But here's the point that I'm making. I would be willing to bet that most of the guys on that NDSU roster were probably never even offered by Big 12 schools, even the ones that are going to finish in the bottom half of that conference. And that most of the players in the Big 12 probably got a lot more offers that were more enticing than North Dakota State. So the point is, as well coached as they are and as good as they are for their level, in reality, this may be the least athletic and physical group that Colorado plays the rest of the year. And again, North Dakota State has NFL guys. But when I look at this schedule, I don't see a lot of sure victories on the Buffalo ledger, Jason. I really don't.
No, listen, they were so overwhelmed on the edges in terms of speed and athleticism. They just couldn't tackle Jimmy Horn or Travis Hunter or any of them. I remember they had that linebacker that kind of got hurt at the end, had the running back dead to rights out of the backfield. It's like, oh, wow, great defense, great play. Running back ran right through him. Kid from, I think it was the running back that transferred in from Ohio State. And it just, Yeah, it just, I was like, if
Jason.
And so I know Nebraska's sitting there just saying, all we got to do is make the tackles and we're golden here.
Jason, I hope we don't rub people the wrong way here, but I know for a fact coaches talk this way because I've had private discussions with them. There were a couple plays on defense with North Dakota State where they didn't finish the play when they were there. I said to myself, and you and I, we know we talk this way. People in football say this. I just said, just too many white guys. Just one or too many white guys on the field for them. It's the truth.
Yeah, I think Deion calls, or not Deion, Warren Sapp calls that a milk check. And they do the milk check. It was like, okay, I spot some milk. There's some 2% milk right there. But I can't tell if they were white guys or if they were light-skinned black guys in their secondary. I do think the safety that got the PI, I think he was a white guy, but it just, the corner, they were just all overwhelmed. And so they won't see that the rest of the year.
It reminds me of one time I'm at a fight, and one of my friends who works in boxing brought along his high school classmate or a friend of his who's a really good high school coach. This guy has coached a lot of Division I guys, a couple of NFL guys. And we're at the MGM Grand Sportsbook. We're watching Michigan against Notre Dame in 2006. And so I'm watching this game. He's teaching me a lot about football. And Michigan busts a long punt return. I think it was like Mario Manningham. And he's looking at the replay, and he looks at me and goes, yeah, I knew it. I go, what? Too many white guys. I go, what? And he's a white guy. And he goes, yeah, I've always said it. If you're a Division I school, you want to win something big, you can't have more than 4 white guys on special teams. I was stunned that he said that, and it taught me something. The same things that we say on the sofa and couch watching a game, many of these same coaches have the exact same feelings about certain things. And Jason, one more thing here. I just wanted to add this. I'm looking at the schedule. Outside of Baylor and Cincinnati at home, I'm not so sure Colorado is really a favorite in any other game on their schedule. I'm just telling you, it's a tougher schedule than people think.
I want to, before I jump to full-blown conclusions, I want to wait. September 7th, I believe, is next Saturday. I want to see them against Nebraska before I jump to too many conclusions. Last thing I want to say about this game, and then I got a different topic I want to end on, is Mark Jones, the broadcaster, the play-by-play guy. What did you think of the broadcast of that game last night? At one point, it was either at halftime or coming out of halftime. The guy used the word alchemize. And
big word.
It's like, what did he just say? And what did he mean? And it's like, does he know he's broadcasting a football game? Does he know who he's talking to? Or is he just pleasuring himself in doing his shtick and like, hey, I'm hip hop, but I also have this big vocabulary. And, you know, he's trying to be Stuart Scott and, I don't know, George Stephanopoulos. I don't know what he's trying to do. But it's just doing too much. And it's just like, hey, man, just call it a football game. You know, could you let us football people just enjoy this? Could you let the Ball State graduates just enjoy this without having to run to our dictionary to figure out what you're talking about? But I want to play a clip of him doing his little rap thing, and ESPN and everybody celebrated it. I guess this guy thinks he's the new Stuart Scott. Let's play the clip.
In the words of Boss Man D-Lo on the sidelines, Colorado, pockets full of cheese and fresher than Febreze right now. Off to a great start. Back after this.
Pockets full of cheese and as fresh as Febreze. Mark Jones, in my opinion, doing too much. Butter, you may have some thoughts on this as well. It might be interesting. But Butter, you go first.
I didn't pick up on that, and I think that these guys are trying to be young and hip and youthful. I didn't notice anything standing out to me that this was anything other than a guy just trying a little hard.
What's alchemize mean?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not a Mark Jones fan. Steve, how about yourself?
Okay, this is him being Payless Stuart Scott. I mean, really. And by the way, alchemize, that's one of those big SAT words. I think it means like come together or coalesce. You'd have to look at that.
Transform
I'm Asian, but
the
I'm
nature or properties of something by a seemingly magical process.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Asian, but I'm not that Asian. My SAT score wasn't that high. But first of all, the only one doing Stephanopoulos is you this week, Whitlock, on Caitlin Clark. Let's get that clear. But I just want to say this. He's always kind of done the hip-hop cute references and tried to be down, as the kids say. I think there's something worse than that, though. I get it. That's his shtick. Watching this game, and I don't mean his partner, Jordan Reed. I thought he was pretty good, actually. I thought he was solid. Called a good, analyzed a good game.
Rod Jones.
Roddy Jones
was his partner. Yeah.
Yeah. Former Georgia Tech running back. Good, solid football player. I liked him. Thought he did a good job. But I remember in my younger days when I used to actually watch wrestling, and I remember during like Tuesday night wrestling where it'd be Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse the Body Ventura in studio. And every time they went back to the studio, Jesse the Body Ventura would look at the camera and say, Gorilla Monsoon, that's some of the most biased reporting and announcing I've ever heard. I kind of felt like that the whole time. The announcer, you could tell, I don't want to say that they're waving pom-poms for Colorado, but gee, they were bordering on cheerleading at times. That's just maybe because I'm with you all the time and you're just a terrible influence on me. But I just could not get it out of my mind. Is like, wow, there's a real agenda here for the Buffaloes.
I'm going to defend them on that again. Just ESPN and all these networks are invested in the success of Deion Sanders. He's ratings gold. Now, where they're uneven on this is, and you just teed me up to play into my bias, why doesn't Caitlin Clark get this treatment from broadcasting? They're invested in her success. They're invested, literally.
Wow.
They need her to be successful for the ratings for the entire league, but you don't see them bending over backwards to celebrate Caitlin Clark in a biased broadcasting crew. You actually see the opposite. You see him trying to somewhat either downplay or I don't want to be accused of favoring Caitlin Clark, so let me be careful here.
Oh.
Jason. That's where I just like, this is uneven.
Whitlock, it is good to have you back. Good. You were straying a little bit the last couple days. It is good to have you back. You make a good point, though. Where is Monica McNutt all of a sudden? Right? I mean, she was the biggest face at ESPN. Is it like Andy Warhol that her 15 minutes just expire? But it's amazing that, and look, I get it. There's some faults in Caitlin Clark's game. I get it. She has to be a little bit more efficient, take care of the ball. But when she's suddenly the clear front runner, not for MVP, but for Rookie of the Year, this is now just a one side. There's no debate anymore. Where is Monica McNutt? And that other one with that name that I can't pronounce. Where are they?
Andrea Carter?
Andrea Carter, Chidozie, something. God, I'm so bad with that name.
I know who you're talking about, yeah.
But where are they to trumpet what has been a glorious rookie year for the CNC Shot Factory? Come on. Be fair about this.
I completely agree. All right, I got one last thing for you and Butter, and then we'll end this show. Give me a second. And just to remind you guys that starting Monday, September 9th, we're going to be live at 10 a.m. Central Time, only on YouTube and Blaze TV. When we come back, I'm going to ask these guys, I got to get their thoughts. Sports Illustrated has done something interesting again with its swimsuit issue, and I got to get these guys' thoughts. We'll do that next. Our main man, Alex Stein, and our Blaze Originals team, they have combined on a documentary pulling back the curtain on the fraud that went down during COVID. Our new documentary series, Scandemic, How Fraudsters Cashed In on Billions, is not just an expose, it's a wake-up call. We, Alex, Blaze Originals team, dig into the murky world of PPP loans, show you exactly how some people gamed the system while you were just trying to keep the lights on and feed your family. And let me tell you, it's shocking, but it's also exactly what we've come to expect when you mix big government and a crisis. But there's more. This documentary doesn't just tell the story, it brings it to life. That's where Alex Stein comes in with his on the streets, in your face style, interviewing style. He talks to the people. Alex gets to the heart of the matter, confronting the fraudsters on the street and asking the questions that we all want answers to. But maybe not the answers you'd expect. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. So if you want to know more about where your tax dollars are being wasted, then you've got to see our latest Blaze Originals documentary. Head over to blazeoriginals.com/Whitlock and subscribe for a 7-day trial plus $30 off with a promo code SCAMDEMIC and watch Wednesday, September 4th. You'll be angry, you'll be informed, but most of all, you'll be ready to take a stand.
Like this. Can I give it to you like this? Please. He's on the market. No matter how fine a chick is, no matter how many Birkin bags or Chanel purses she has, if she's on the market, what does that tell you?
All women are not hoes. We're talking 25% tops.
What that might do? What that might do?
Most frankly,
she can be a dime. She can have a mansion. She can drive a Bugatti with Rolls Royce and Cullinans.
Talk to the hand, because the face don't want to hear it anymore.
If she's on the market, what does that tell you, Stephen?
That tells me that somebody didn't want her. That don't mean I shouldn't.
I want a girl to be like, wait, how are you still single?
That's how I answer that question. That's how I answer it. But what are you talking about? Who there it is? I mean, we don't know that. What are you talking about, Willis?
All right, welcome back. Sports Illustrated long ago killed its brand, but now it's even killing its brand as it relates to the Swimsuit Edition. This happened a long time ago. But this latest example, they got this rugby player, Alona Marr, on the cover. Let's put the picture up. Steve Butter, that's your latest Swimsuit Edition digital version. I just think they do this every time. Hey, we need a little controversy to get some clicks going over social media. Let's put a 180, 190-pound woman on the cover of some digital version of the Swimsuit Edition and drive conversation. Didn't they have at one point Gayle King, I think, on the cover of the Swimsuit Edition? Maybe some woman named Hunter McGrady. I mean, they're just trolling us with these Swimsuit Editions. Hunter McGrady, I think, and is Hunter McGrady, is he or she related to Hunter Biden? I don't know. And then Yumi Nu, I think, is another one. It's like they just keep trolling us with these swimsuit editions, digital editions. Steve, there we go. Yeah. I at some point, I think I'm going to become a candidate for the swimsuit edition. Steve, what do you think of Alona Marr, the rugby player? You like this? You like seeing these athletes?
She looks like she'd be very effective in a scrum. I will give her that. But Jason, it harkens back to some memories of a young Steve Kim growing up in Valencia, California, and then Montebello. Every spring while I had my beloved Sports Illustrated subscription, so it'd be either every Wednesday or Thursday, I would tear open that thing, read it cover to cover. But there was always one magazine where I would really just look at the pictures. Cindy Crawford, Paulina Porskova. Oh, just beautiful. Helped me grow up. Put a little hair on my chest, And now this is what it's turned into. And I have thought about this. There's been a lot of negatives over the DEI from corporate America to college campuses, to generally on the job workforce place, right? Those people make it very difficult. This has been the worst part of DEI. Right there. That Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition used to be a national holiday. Okay? It was the most stolen issue out of every dentist office every year. okay, and libraries. And now this is what it's been reduced to because we want everyone to feel good. That's what I think of it. It is sad as a former subscriber to Sports Illustrated, what has happened to this once fine, serious institution.
Alona Mar, Butter, would she be popular on Broadway? Maybe, or does it depend? 2 a.m., is she more popular than at 9 p.m.? Does she go over well on Broadway? I'm talking, Broadway in Nashville.
Down here singing some songs?
Yeah.
Right down there?
I mean, is she popular on Broadway?
Yeah, she'd probably have a little batch of folks into it. This is one of those subjects I probably wish I was in the penalty box on. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard for me to come off the real top rope on it. But, she's got a thing. But honestly, Jason Whitlock, the thought of you posing in a Speedo for Sports Illustrated to me is something we need to have happen.
Yeah, and look, at the rate they're going, calendar. I may be a candidate. Wasn't Caitlyn Jenner wasn't she on a SI Swimsuit Digital Edition? I think there's Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner, whatever his name is.
There's a lot of folks out there, that have different tastes and what they think is beautiful.
Butters. And there used to be a magazine called Plumpers for that. I mean, come on. The SI, I've heard. That's what I've been told. By good friends. A friend told me.
Look,
but this used to be prime real estate. This used to be the most bought edition of Sports Illustrated, and it used to be a launching pad. Now, I will say about that young lady, on 4th and 1, I would give her the ball. She would move the pile. As long as Colorado was not in a shotgun, you give her to the Belly series, you'd get a first down. I will give her that. And she's not actually the worst looking that they've had recently. So, but I'm just saying, it used to be sacred ground, that cover. Jeez.
I'll say this, and I say this in all seriousness, and I heard Chad Johnson talk about this once. It's like having a baby with that kid, with that young woman, you got an NFL prospect. That's your
Division
401k. You got a WNBA prospect.
Yeah.
You got a NFL prospect. And maybe that's more important than just picking off visual beauty.
Well,
you got
Jason,
a kid that's going to be a great 401k for you.
Jason, your old buddy LeVar Ball once said it because I picked my wife on genetics. I looked at her and I said, "Oh yeah, we're doing Division I things here. I will never have to pay for any college education." So you're right. You got to have some foresight and some vision in these things. Yes.
All right, well, I'm going to let you guys go. We're going to play some tomorrow, which means, we'll see you next week. We'll see you next week. We'll see you on Monday. Little holiday edition of Fearless with Jason Whitlock on Monday. That's tomorrow. See you next week.
Waiting for the countdown, coming off the breakdown, standing in line for freedom. Looking for a breakout, feeling like a standoff, nothing in life like freedom. Came like a fighter, striking like a ladder, making all these moves for freedom. I want freedom. No negotiation, my sister, no relation. We all just wanna have freedom. Sitting on the corner, never been alone. I'm breaking my back for freedom. Blessed, we are living, get back. We are receiving, all deceiving. We all wanna be free. We want